Why, howdy there, folks. I'm sorry I didn't see you. My eyesight is not what it used to be. But I do say, you look like the type of fella who enjoys wearing clothes, am I right? I tell you what, why don't you come on down and browse my fine goods? I have some badge shirts. I have some badge long sleeves. Hell, I even have written shirts, if that's what tickles your fancy. But I've got some real good shit snatched away too. We have some graphic designs. We have a graphic design that isn't actually live yet, because I fucked everything up. But dare I say, I have a trick up my southern sleeve. We have a charity design donated by Leighton Stollard, who also designed the graphic stuff. Really good artist. All the proceeds of this go to the Australian Bushfire Relief. Really good design. We've got some koalas. We've got a kangaroo. We've got... Oh shit, we're on fire, boys. Fuck. And that one is a limited time only. So get in soon. You know what? Just buy all my shirts now. I did a southern accent for like 3 minutes. It's really hot. I haven't worn a singlet in like 10 years. I'm very unhappy here. Come on. I deserve this. Buy my shit. That's my new motto. Buy my shit. That's crazy. That was definitely a thing that happened. It was bound to happen eventually. They deserved it. Help. Alright, I just condensed like all the possible reactions of this behemoth of a story down to a few seconds, so you can promptly click off if you hate the sound of my voice, which is going to make this a lot harder to edit in the future. Yeah, fuck you, future self. I'm going to do crack. I should say, now that I'm back on the topic of Greg and the whole Onision thing, I feel kind of bad for people that watched my book review or like clicked on it going in, thinking, oh, this is going to be topical and not only cover things that happened before my fucking career started. I was writing it when all of this started happening, and in my mind, I'm just thinking, oh, this is a minor thing. This will just blow over. There's no precedent for Greg being absolutely insane. There's no reason to think that this could possibly become something bigger. Yeah, dude, go after his book. That'll get him, you fucking moron. Every little bit helps, except for like everything I do, apparently. Well, let's just start this off by being frank. Well, howdy there, partners. My name's Frank. Also, Greg is currently being investigated for child grooming. Wow, I am so surprised. Eyes go big and pop out of head. Isn't that kooky? Head spins with question marks above head. Wowza, I never could have seen this coming. Because of this investigation and the ensuing discussion about it on the internet, Greg deems that his civil rights of some kind have been infringed or that he needs protection, so he must take action against it, specifically against Repzion and Chris Hansen, specifically in court. That specifically makes him look like a knobhead. Oh, that classic. Hence why I'm in court-wearing attire, because I am prepared to go to court, but I've got my sleeves rolled up, and I'm not wearing a blazer or shoes, because I don't want to be that prepared, you know? I don't actually want to go. And all of this culminated in basically nothing, because he actually dismissed his own filing against Repzion for obvious reasons, and nothing's really happened since then, but we did get some amazing pictures of Onision in court, and it is genuinely astounding how someone wearing a suit can look so unprepared for court. Fun fact, I myself have actually been to court, not for actually doing anything, I was just sitting in. And I got to see what some would say the worst, but in my opinion, the best of Bogan Australia. You know, the people that come into court and demand that, a book be written on their lives because they're just that amazing. Genuinely happened. He was more formal than Greg. And he wasn't the one filing like a protection case against somebody else. He doesn't even look formal enough for Outback Steakhouse. You're going to court. Also, as far as I'm aware, he actually represented himself, which is even worse, because imagine somebody filing like a case against you
rocking up to court without an attorney and looking like he came right out of Silent Hill 2. God, what a fucking character. If you weren't already immediately blinded by that picture, you may have noticed this, which is either the most jacked trapezius in the world, I had to look that up, or it's a Kevlar vest. And while that's a can of worms I don't exactly want to get into right now, I will say that it actually does explain why it looks that weird, but it doesn't explain the bottom half, which I would say is even more confusing. The best thing I can come up with is it's painted cardboard, and that doesn't explain basically anything. He's also rocking the Adidas runners, baby. Ooh, because why would you wear formal shoes to a formal location? Why? Doesn't make any sense. They're not even good shoes. They're like scuffed as shit, like he's been at a playground recently and got picked on by the other kids. While I would not have agreed with it, I would have understood and respected Yeezys. And he didn't even give us that. Let's take a deep dive into the shallow pool that is the events that brought across this historic fit, as the kids might say. And while the documentation is extensive regarding these events and Greg's misdeeds, which is his entire life about right now, so the actual broad strokes of this current thing is mind-numbingly simple. There's not much mental gymnastics involved in understanding this situation, which is great because I have the mind of a 1600 serf who's dead. But it's very much the difference between finding out what kind of monster Bill Cosby was and finding out that the crackhead down the street also sells PCP. Wow, it's another crime, but it's not that much worse. The actual story starts a few years ago now, but I don't want to do that, so I'm gonna run a ditty on you real quick. It was starting with a girl named Sarah, which is a name that you've probably heard 1,000 times if you've been following the story. Now 1,001. She became friends with Lainey and Greg in 2016 and moved in with them, which is fine, except she was 16 and she became their foster child, which is really weird. Excuse the paper, but I'm not a genius, hence why I wrote it down in the first place, so fuck off. She moved out in 2017 because it was weird and nothing really happened for like 2 years other than intense wild speculation, which could have existed basically just because Greg is a creep. And you know what? The tinfoil hat people got it right. So good work, guys. I don't want to say there weren't signs, but they were mainly hidden deep away in Greg's streams, which nobody wants to watch, where like at the 28-hour mark or some shit, he did say, I don't know what the future holds, but right now I'm not in a relationship with my foster daughter. Yes, he actually said that. For real. And he just went straight through him. The whole thing actually got explicitly stated or like explicitly outed in January of 2019 to community-wide something. Surprise is not the right word. Greg and Lainey, now named Kai, absolved themselves of any sins or misdeeds, any wrongdoings on their streams either the same day or the day later, to a resounding why do I not believe you? Because their goodwill has been shrinking rapidly over the past decade. And on September the 3rd, God created the dung beetle, because this is where shit gets rolling. Yeah, you like that one? That was good. Screenshot after screenshot starts getting leaked, which basically proves exactly what everyone was thinking, that they were extremely inappropriate with a 15-year-old girl who was technically their foster child, which just made things really weird. And in a follow-up outburst by none other than Greg, because of course it was, he said that Sarah naughty-worded Kai, who at the time was 22. Also, as a partial side note to everything that's going on, while still being somewhat related, many of you may know that Kai and Greg, there's a small age, well, a decently big age gap for their age, being 9 years, which isn't actually that much, seeing as Greg is like 30-something, but they've been dating for a while, and I actually didn't know much about their whole relationship, so I wanted to check something on one of the many Onision romantic life timelines, because it is a complete clusterfuck. And one of them states, on February 12th, Kai and Greg start dating privately. March, he proposes over Skype, how romantic of him. June, the relationship becomes long distance. October, Kai turns 18 after being a fervent and manipulatable fan for over a year. How classy of him. Also at the time, Greg was going on 27, so sometimes a 9-year age gap is not that much. But sometimes it really is. Also, you probably shouldn't need to consult a lawyer to see if you can legally date someone. Yeah, bitch, it's Chris Hansen. What's up? Yeah, surprise guest entrance from Chris Hansen at this point, where he just throws his hat into the ring, gets down to business, doing what he does, God bless. It was at this point where Greg pretty clearly started getting scared, because Chris Hansen does not cometh alone. He comes with the police, among other things, and the police don't really judge people the same way YouTube does, where YouTube is like an algorithm that judges people based on views, so you can technically be a dickhead and still get views, you know, controversy and all that. The police judge people based off the law, which he's broken multiple times before this scandal even started. Ooh, he's in for a ride, boys. And it was from there where things started getting interesting, at the very least. He started posting breakdowns, which he recently gave us a slap in the face of truth, where, oh, they were all fake, I've tricked you all. When in reality, people stopped believing them around about here. Down by the second one. People started memeing his breakdowns with like vocoding and all of that, which meant that he had us by the hook, that we were believing it, that we were watching his outbreak until people kept doing it, and then he actually kind of started getting upset because he was taking views away from him. Gigabrain play right there. He also tweeted a lot of things that you've probably seen. My personal favorite moment out of all of this is when Chris Hansen goes to confront him at his house. He walks up and knocks on the door, and Greg, opting to not explain himself, calls the police on him, which is so smart, because Chris Hansen and the police, they're famous enemies. They notoriously do not work together under any circumstance. The thing I like about it is Greg trying to act like he's he's threatened, with the person asking like, "Oh, do you have a weapon in the house?" And he's like, "No, they're stalking me. They've come to find me." And the visual aid that we get for all of this is a 60-year-old man standing politely on the porch. He has the same body language of someone coming to borrow sugar. How are you threatened by this? Which leads us back into the world of law. Kind of. Where Greg files something against Repsion and Chris Hansen, like for a protection thing, which as far as I'm aware is like a restraining order, kind of. I don't know. I like the legal system, but I like the criminal legal system in the wrong country, so my area of expertise is not this. But none of that even matters, because both cases have been dismissed. The Repsion one, as I said before, because he dismissed it himself, saying he's going to go for other options. And the Chris Hansen one, he did not get the chance to do it that way, because it was dismissed on the grounds that he filed it against the wrong Chris Hansen. Maybe hire an attorney, dude. I do wholeheartedly recommend Repsion's videos, I guess, because nobody can actually explain what Greg was physically like and what it was like doing with other than him, really. So go watch that. Everything I could say would just be like a rehashing and repackaging of what he's already said and interpreting the treasure trove of pictures that we have. I'm probably going to set this as my background at some point, but that's just me and the opinion of basically every single person in the community, because nobody likes him. If you enjoyed the video, like, subscribe, become a member if you want, bell, notification bell, and if you didn't like it, why are you here? Life is short. Go watch something you like. Death is a lot faster than you, trust me.